Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Seth Skorkowsky and Dungeons and Dragons and how Seth Skorkowsky got literally every single thing wrong about reviewing tabletop role-playing games in his recent video about tabletop role-playing game reviews. So Seth Skorkowsky did it's a fantastic video. Every single thing in it is wrong, right? Now, you're like, wait a second, aren't those two things paradox? They are. Hey, I'm Scott Garibay. I believe in a lot of paradoxes. All right, but I believe that everything in this video is wrong, but it's actually extremely valuable video, and every serious dungeon master and every serious dragon master should watch this thing. All right, so first of all, I watched Seth Skorkowski's RPG philosophy video, TTRPG reviews, right? And he talked about TTRPG reviews, and he said, this way to review a game is good, and this way to review a game is bad. This one's better than that one. And actually, I think that's a better way to summarize. He says this is better than that when it comes to reviewing TTRPGs, and and he just jumps right in. He like really goes for it and goes all the way down the rabbit hole, right? And literally every single thing he said is wrong. All right, now why am I talking about it, right? Well, Seth Skorkowski's complete wrongness about tabletop role-playing games is extremely valuable, and the reason why is, one, he perfectly illuminates all the problems with tabletop role-playing game reviews. There are a ton of problems with tabletop role-playing game reviews. One thing I realize is, you guys know my channel. I talk about Grace Randolph all the time, and the reason why is, one, she's a personal mentor to me. Like, I have spoken to her a couple times, right? And so, but she serves as a mentor to me because she reviews movies and she does commentary on the movie industry, and my entire model is based off of hers, right? And what's really interesting is, like, she's a professional and she reviews movies, right? And so what is reviewing movies, right? It's covering the industry, the math and the industry, covering all the people and the drama and the events of all the people who are in the movies, covering overexposure, covering the technology, and then, right? Actually, also doing tailwind and headwind headwind coverage, right? She will talk about a movie a year before it arrives, and sometimes talk about a movie for a year after it's arrived, right? So the bar for what actually should be happening for tabletop role-playing game reviews is incredibly high, and it's already set on movies, right? And literally no one in the industry is reviewing tabletop role-playing games right. But Seth really gave a very genuine effort to understand what a tabletop role-playing game review is, and he breaks it down into different subjects and into the correct categories, and he's really done an excellent analysis, but just come up with all the wrong answers, okay? And yeah, that's not the only problem, but that's definitely one. So, but also, I want to just take a look, right, and say, okay, again, how do we arrive at me saying this is a great video, you should watch it, this video is of incredible value, but everything in it is wrong, right? Well, it has to do with humanity and a growing exploration and understanding of humanity. All right, so I am about the business of understanding humanity at its absolute basic level, okay? So, and what I mean by that is the macro human. I don't care about you, I don't care about me. I care about the macro human, the 51% human, okay? Now, what gets really interesting here is I'm an evangelical Christian, right? So wait, Scott, wouldn't you just understand humanity through the Bible? No, not at all, right? And the reason why is, first of all, the Bible is about understanding God, right? So if you really study the Bible, you're going to learn a lot about God, okay? You are going to learn a little bit about the lost, and then you're going to learn a lot about yourself, and you're going to learn a lot about people of faith, right? But the reality is you will not learn about the macro human from the Bible, and not at the level that I would like to learn it, right? And the reason why, in my humble opinion, is the Bible is for Christians, right? And like, it literally is for us, right? And when non-Christians come to the Bible literally says non-Christians think this book is foolishness. They don't really get anything out of it, right? But when I go to the Bible, I learn a lot about God, I learn a lot about myself, and I learn a lot about my brothers and sisters in Christ. But I learn almost nothing about the macro human, right? And get this, the macro human is lost, not saved, okay? So the macro human is the 51%. We know that the people who will follow Christ is a remnant, which means that the macro human, most humans are not going to be saved. So how do we learn about the macro human? Well, what's another path to learn about the macro human? There's a bunch of fools trying to learn about the macro human right now by getting a couch scribbler's discipline from a university. Hey, everybody, I got my 4-year, my 8-year, 1 or 2 degrees in the couch scribbler discipline. I know how to ask you about your mother and, jot down some stuff while I sit on a couch and you blather out some answers. I think there was a moment where that was about understanding the macro human, right? Today, I think that is about getting to the point where you can charge $200 for a person. They ask a question, you answer a question back. Literally giving no answers, right? No help, no guidance, nothing. I don't think there's any way to learn about the macro human from the couch scribbler discipline. Okay. Now, I think I know Seth Skorkowsky better than he knows himself, right? And the reason why is I've been watching his videos for years. And let's talk about what is Seth Skorkowsky. So I'm convinced. I skipped a step there. Sorry. So how do we actually learn about humans, about the macro human? Dungeons and Dragons, identity stacking, the path that Gary Gygax set on February 7th, 1971. 1974, day 1 of Dungeons and Dragons. He actually brought forward a tool where you actually really can learn about the macro human. And what have I learned about the macro human? I'm going to give it to you right now, okay? This is just one epiphany, one revelation of the macro human. Human beings start with 3 buckets, right? And I think this starts when we're 12 years old. When we're 12 years old, we're old enough to make decisions, and we're old enough to take a level of responsibility. Not all responsibility, right? But when we're 12, I think we get all 3 buckets. What are the buckets? Knowledge, wisdom, self-awareness, okay? And we get all 3 buckets. Now, get this. Every human starts with 3 buckets at the age of 12, okay? And you could put knowledge in one. Yeah, they have a knowledge bucket, a wisdom bucket, and a self-awareness bucket, right? Now, this is important to understand. Why didn't I just say, they have knowledge? Because you need to understand the difference here. You have a knowledge bucket. Many people destroy their knowledge bucket, right? How can you destroy your knowledge bucket? Listen to a lot of music, right? You could spend hundreds, thousands of hours listening to music, never really reading, never studying, never seeking to understand, and you're going to start destroying your knowledge bucket. It's going to get holes in it. It's going to start to splinter, right? Another way is recreational substances. A lot of people 420 actually you want to take a hammer to your knowledge bucket, start 420. You'll be the most knowledgeless person very quickly, right? You won't have knowledge. You won't even have a bucket to keep knowledge in, right? And then also I would say television, and video games. All television, video games, 420, music, all excellent ways to take a jackhammer to your knowledge bucket, to the point where you not only do you not have knowledge, you don't even have a bucket to keep it in. Okay. Now, wisdom and self-awareness, same thing, right? Do you have wisdom? Do you even have a bucket to keep wisdom in? If you come across, a tidbit of wisdom, you might just encounter it, but you won't even have it when you walk away because you didn't have a bucket to put it in, right? And self-awareness. Okay. Do you have a bucket for self-awareness? Do you know who you are, really, right? And I learned all this from Gary. I learned all this from Dungeons & Dragons. And if you study every edition of Dungeons & Dragons, there are 12, you will learn this too, and you'll learn more than me, right? If you take a good look, Gary built the best human improvement engine ever presented to humankind. And part of that was an incredible tool to understand the macro human. All right, so let's talk about Seth Skorkowsky, okay? So what is Seth Skorkowsky? So first of all, Seth Skorkowsky has all three buckets, and all three buckets have been preserved. He has a ton of knowledge. He has a knowledge bucket. And you know what? He got rid of his wooden knowledge bucket. He's got a titanium knowledge bucket, right? He carries it in his right hand, okay? And then he has a titanium wisdom bucket. He carries it in his left hand, right? And then he has a wooden self-awareness bucket that he bounces on his head, okay? And that's how we all carry our buckets, okay? All right, now, did he fill his knowledge bucket? Yes. Seth Skorkowsky is incredibly knowledgeable. He's very intelligent. By the way, we're not even talking about intelligence. He is very intelligent, but intelligence is not the same as having a knowledge bucket and having knowledge. You can be very unintelligent and still have a very well-preserved knowledge bucket with lots of knowledge in it, right? And wisdom. You don't even need intelligence for either one of those, okay? All right. So he is intelligent, but he also has a knowledge bucket. He has filled that knowledge bucket, okay? And he has a wisdom bucket, a titanium wisdom bucket with a few tidbits of wisdom in it. I think that you can get wisdom from Seth Skorkowsky. He has a wooden pail self-awareness bucket that is empty. Seth Skorkowsky has no self-awareness, okay? And this is why he got every single thing wrong about tabletop role-playing game review in his TTRPG review. Really, really fascinating. Okay, so why is self-awareness why he doesn't understand about TTRPG reviews? So first of all, he says in the video, my group is a regular group. What a ridiculous, absurd statement, right? That is not even remotely true. And he said, my group is a regular TTRPG group, and we've been playing together for years. All right, so first of all, that's a bunch of bunk. And let's dig in why. Okay, so first of all, if your group has been playing for years, that's not a normal group. Most D&D campaigns, they did a study, most D&D campaigns don't make it past session 6. Okay, most groups do not last. Okay, if he has a group and they've been playing together for years, they're very unusual. Okay, groups who play for years is extremely unusual. Okay, also, I will say this: if you have a group playing for years, I would really be concerned. And the reason why is, why, right? None of your peoples, found jobs elsewhere. None of your peoples wanted to live with their family or go back home or go to a better place, right? None of them moved. None of them won the lottery. None of them got abducted by aliens. Like, why are you guys all still together? It's kind of weird, right? It means none of you went anywhere. That's not right. That's not the way somebody's supposed to be, right? Like, and so one, if you got a group that's been together for years, I really question your group and you, right? Like, so one, his group is unusual, right? All right. Second, he being the leader of his group makes his group astonishingly rare, right? He's not a dungeon master, right? He's not a regular dungeon master. He's an exceptional dungeon master, right? He runs Dungeons & Dragons. He runs Traveler. He runs Call of Cthulhu, right? He's run Cyberpunk. He's run many games over the years, right? But just like you and me, he's a dungeon master, right? He's run Dungeon Master and Dungeons & Dragons, and he talks about Dungeons & Dragons and commentates on Dungeons & Dragons all the time, okay? Now, he might counter that and be like, oh, I'm a game master. It's a bunch of bunk. You're a dungeon master. You've talked about playing Dungeons & Dragons. And I think he get this, I think he plays Dungeons & Dragons more than he tells people. Because I think there's a lot of people right now, especially at his level, where doing Dungeons & Dragons isn't cool because it's mainstream, right? So I personally think he hides a lot of his Dungeons & Dragons interactions. That's just my take, just my humble opinion. Okay, nothing more than, and I don't, and actually my evidence for that is all signals that I'm catching that I think others. Okay, let's keep moving. All right, so so the thing is, but the other thing is, he's not even a regular dungeon master. He's an exceptional dungeon master, and he's not even a dungeon master. He's a designer. He's literally written TTRPG products, right? So, and he goes to a convention. People know him. People see him. He is a TTRPG celebrity, right? And what a ridiculous fool for thinking that does not impact his players, right? None of his players are going to leave his table because they know he's going to be flooded with free product, free glory, free fame from the work. They're going to. This is going to rub off, right? They have lots of resources that other tables who do not have celebrity access the way he does will not have, right? They're going to have products they wouldn't normally have. People send Seth, he said it. People send him product all the time. People try to hand him product that for nothing at, he's turning down TPGRs. So he's getting the best dice. He's getting the good stuff. And all his players know it, right? Like, he's not a regular dungeon master. He's not even a regular designer. He's fairly, sought out. People want him for projects, right? So the idea that him being in his group, like that being a massive 100K sub YouTube things in the, like, he's got the 100K badge, right, from YouTube, right? He's got thousands and thousands, he's got millions of views, right? And the idea that this isn't impacting his group is absurd. They're not even remotely a regular group. I watched the show Entourage. I loved it. It's the story of Mark Wahlberg's Entourage, right? Mark Wahlberg isn't even in it. The whole story is just about the entourage. Seth Skorkowski's entourage in our circle, which is niche, is an entourage. It's not even remotely normal, right? It's not normal. He has absolutely no self-awareness, and nothing that's happening at his table is normal. That is not the experience of most dungeon masters. Every player at his table is incented by many people, many groups, many resources beyond him to keep them there. You understand that? They are literally an entourage. They aren't even players, right? And he doesn't see it. He has no self-awareness. So every single thing he says about TTRPG reviews is wrong, right? However, last thing I'm going to say in this video, you have to watch this video. You have to watch this video because his shocking ignorance, birthed from a lack of self-awareness, right, really does shine like a black light on the TTRPG problem of TTRPG reviews. And if you really want to understand TTRPG reviews, you got to watch this. His complete wrongness illuminates the right path, in my humble opinion. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. You get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.